Hey, it's Heather here from Lumalete Inc. and I want to read to you one of my favorite passages from this book, The Fearless Organization. And the author is Amy C. Edmonson. And I love this book. You can see I have it so many spots in here tagged. It's got so much great information. The one area that I want to share with you today is on confidence. And the section's called Sharing Knowledge When Confidence is Low. And I picked this section because I think a lot of people can relate. As I go through and read it, I think a lot of people can relate to this situation. So she writes in her book, Amy, you might think that speaking up with creative ideas is easier than speaking up about errors. Now, imagine that you're at work and you've got an idea you're 95% confident is creative or interesting. You're going to probably have no trouble speaking up about that idea. Now, imagine the same situation, but you're only 40% confident of your idea. Most people will hesitate, perhaps trying to size up how the idea is going to be received from their colleagues. Stated another way, when you feel extremely confident in the value or veracity of something that you want to say, you're more likely to simply open your mouth and just say it. But when your confidence in your idea or your knowledge is low, you potentially might hold back. In a particularly compelling study in several U.S. manufacturing and service companies, University of Minnesota professor Anno Simpson and his colleagues found an intuitively interesting relationship between confidence and psychological safety. As expected, the more confident people were in their knowledge, the more they spoke up. More interestingly, a psychologically safe workplace helped people overcome a lack of confidence. Interesting, right? In other words, if your workplace is psychologically safe, you're more able to speak up even when you have less confidence. Given that an individual's confidence and the value of his idea are not always tightly linked, the usefulness of psychological safety for facilitating knowledge sharing can be immense. Interesting, right? Communication frequency among coworkers also led to psychological safety. In other words, the more we talk to each other, the more comfortable we become doing so. And so that's the passage that I wanted to share with you. Now I want to share a few points about, why did I pick that passage, right? And I think there's a couple things that came up for me. When people are not feeling confident and not sharing ideas, what happens is, within our organization, when we try to be innovative, creative, think outside the box, we're having less people come forward and share their idea. They have that reluctance to speak up because they're maybe not sure how the idea is going to be received or if this idea is even going to work. And I think when we think about that, it impacts, that innovation and how do we start to think about and change things, because typically we fall into that trap of doing the same thing over and over just because we've done it. But what if we want to think outside the box? What if we want to stretch ourselves? So with that idea of psychological safety and people can share ideas, it allows us to really dial up that creativity and innovation. The other thing that happens when people are not feeling confident is they start to depend on other people, right? And so they're not sharing their own ideas, and then they're starting to doubt their knowledge or doubt sharing their ideas. And, I think if you're working in that environment for a long time, it can really impact how you perceive, like how am I seen, heard, and valued within that team. The other thing I think is, missed learning opportunities. Maybe there's things that within the organization that we need to learn about or to get better about or to explore, but nobody's speaking up or talking about it. And then the last point I want to talk about is that lack of confidence really can reinforce imposter syndrome. So if we start to doubt our own expertise, we think we have to be an expert in everything before we start to share knowledge, it can really, again, make us feel that, create that cycle of self-doubt and underperformance, which can impact we're not performing as well as we possibly could. So I want to thank you for listening to that favorite excerpt, and I hope you had, as I read through that passage, created some aha moments or things for you to reflect upon. Okay, thanks so much.